Hey, welcome everybody to day two. Today's topic is water. Obviously it's a big one, an incredibly important one, so I'm going to jump right in. Just want to first start off with the importance of water. We all get it. We can't go very long without water as opposed to food. We get the importance of it in our lives, but there's some things that you may not know. First off, most of our body is made of water. 70% of our body is made of water. Our brains are 75% water. Even our teeth and bones are 10% water. Our blood, our plasma, the gastric juices that break down food, our saliva, 90+% water. We lose about a gallon of water a day, just through urination, sweating, whatever. That's vital water that needs to be replaced. So by definition, if we're mostly water, we need to be making sure that we're drinking an adequate amount and that quality of water is high. So we'll get to all of that. But water as not just comprising most of our bodies, but it is important to every process of the body, from delivering nutrients to carrying out waste and toxins. Nothing happens in the body without water. Every hair that grows, every broken nail, every bit of healing, whatever the body needs for that, whatever vitamin, mineral, antioxidant, phytonutrient, amino acid, protein, whatever, gets transported by one thing and one thing only, and that's water. So it's incredibly important. It regulates our body temperature. It's an integral component in elimination, in absorption, and digestion. So it's incredibly important that we get adequate water and the right kind of water, given that's what we're mostly comprised of. So that's kind of the obvious, but just wanted to highlight how important and how deep and integral water is to us. Now, water, I want you to think of water as, anything that we wash, whether it's our clothes, our cars, or anything that needs to be washed, the primary ingredient is water. Even if it's some kind of solvent included, it's always water that cleans. And that concept that we can very much easily relate to is also works for the inside of our bodies. Getting healthy, detoxifying, healing our bodies, which I would probably submit that most of us are in need of some repair to some degree, myself included. What's going to do that for us? What's going to aid the process is water. Getting rid of toxins again. So as a cleanser, we need to basically wash the inside of our bodies, and by that I mean our guts. We've got a lot of fecal matter stuck in our guts. We've got a lot of built up toxins in our cells. What's going to help us get rid of that and clean us out and give us the vitality, health, and unobstructed ability for our body to run is going to be water. So just like we clean our cars, we've got to clean ourselves out from the inside out. And again, water is going to do that. Now let's go right to how much water to drink. As a general rule, and it's a very general rule, half your body weight in ounces is a great kind of general kind of goal target. A little more, a little less, but a little more certainly if you're exercising and your exercise routine is a lot of cardio and sweating and whatnot, and maybe a little bit less necessary in the winter when we're not out in the heat. If you live in a temperate climate like myself. So I like that general rule. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you should be shooting for 50 ounces of water, a day. Now the key thing is that 75%, at least 3/4 of Americans are partially dehydrated all the time. We're not getting adequate water. And what we're doing when we're thirsty is a lot of us drink low, poor quality soft drinks, alcohol, coffee, tea, soda, these energy drinks, which are not healthy. Not only do they not provide us with water, they contain a lot of chemicals, often a lot of sugar, extra caffeine, and can actually serve as a dehydrating agent, which often leads to more consumption of those very same poor quality drinks. They are not water. They are not the same as water, even if they are mostly water. So that's very, very important to understand. They may quench our thirst temporarily, but more often than not, we're thirsty again, especially if anybody's experienced, drinking soda, It doesn't quench our thirst. It just adds a lot of calories, often a lot of sugar. If it's diet soda, it's got lots of other colorings and dyes and artificial sweeteners and whatnot that are incredibly harmful. So what we want is water as pure as we can get it. Now, before we get to that, I want to introduce the concept, and this is going to come up as its own topic later on in the challenge. It's that important. But the concept of eating your water and the concept of high water content food. And again, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but it's something that will be reiterated throughout this challenge, is the importance of water, and how, given we are mostly water, most of what we eat should be comprised of mostly water. Now, this isn't a trick question. What out there is comprised mostly of water? Well, fruits and vegetables. They are mostly water. So if we want it, we can eat our water and juices and smoothies. If we're eating a lot of juices and smoothies and we're having a good amount of, especially raw fruits and vegetables, whether we're snacking on apples, even bananas. Bananas are 75% water. Avocados, 75% water. All other fruits are 80-85% and above water. Same thing with vegetables, and there we're getting, not only are we getting good clean water, we're getting all of the nutrients that we need for the most part, right there in a diverse diet of fresh raw fruits and vegetables. So that concept, your smoothies, your juices, your raw vegetables, your raw fruit, counts as water. It should. It's mostly water, and by definition, that you can count that towards your tally. And if you're not sitting down accurately detailing every ounce of water you drink, we're not suggesting that either. It's a rough rule. When you're thirsty, you'll know it. And when you're reaching for sugary drinks and whatnot, you probably are thirsty, and substituting with a glass of water is really the way to go to get a pure water uptake. But again, really want to drive home the concept of eating your water and high water content food all the time, as much as possible. It's an incredible way to fast track healing in your body. It's easy to digest. It's low in calorie density. And it's got all of the things the body needs. Again, we'll get to that in a later topic, and we'll dedicate a lot more time to what I just spoke about later. Now, how about when to drink? This isn't something that's often talked about that much, and we'd like to dedicate a couple minutes to it here. Things we can do to update our water, because we want to be drinking water basically throughout the day. We don't want to be chugging a ton of water and then having to run to the bathroom 15 minutes later. That's really not going to do the trick. It might help us eliminate some matter in our large intestine, but as a general rule, we want to be drinking water throughout the day. Waking up in the morning and having a glass of water before anything else is incredibly healthy. Overnight, while we're sleeping, we're eliminating toxins. The body's cleaning. The body's doing a ton of stuff while we're asleep. And mostly what it's doing is assimilating what it's eaten the day before and getting rid of what it doesn't need. So eating some high water content food in the morning and drinking a good glass of water when we wake up is going to help eliminate those toxins that the body was dumping into the blood overnight. Drinking some water, a glass of water 15 minutes before we eat, will help us be hydrated so that we don't have to eat, or so we don't have to drink as much during our meal. If most of our meal is high water content, we don't need to drink really any fluid. And by definition, we won't need to drink anything. The reason why we need to drink liquids when we eat is because most of the time we're eating very dense, calorie-dense, thick, low water content food. So we need something to help flush it down. And that's why we tend to drink with meals, but it's really not necessary to drink anything at all with a meal if it's high in water content, 60-70% water. So think about that a little bit. When we drink a lot of fluids, and sometimes we're not even drinking water with our meal, we might be drinking soda, Gatorade. People drink coffee with their breakfast, big breakfast, or wine, or like I said, soda, whatever. What we're actually doing is interrupting digestion by flushing the digestive enzymes that are trying to work on the meal. So just trying to not drink anything is the best way to allow that digestive process to take place. Again, the gastric juices that are breaking down food, and there are different gastric juices required for different types of food. Your body knows how to handle that. Again, they're 95% water. So allowing that process to take place without flushing it, without introducing a lot of the chemicalized, low-quality drinks that we're having with our meals is another simple thing we can do to really help digestion and free up that energy to do other things. So if we do want to have water or we feel thirsty when we're eating, including some raw celery and cucumber, they are incredibly high in water content. And not only that, they contain a lot of fiber that's going to attach itself. Fiber does a number of things. That's a whole nother day. But quickly, fiber will attach toxins and help take them out of the body. Fiber also helps facilitate digestion and elimination in our large intestine. It feeds good bacteria in our gut. So you're going to get from your raw fruits and vegetables, especially something like celery and cucumber, you're going to get a lot of water, you're going to get a lot of fiber. And that's going to have just so many knock-on positive effects for the digestive process and for the overall health process, specifically helping elimination and eliminating toxins. So again, we don't want to drink too much while we're eating. So again, drinking throughout the day. We don't want to overdo it. We don't want to also waterlog ourselves. We don't want to get crazy about how much water we're drinking. We'll know when we're thirsty, especially when we start to get rid of some of the poor quality stuff and just introducing more pure water. You'll know when you're thirsty. Drinking throughout the day. We don't want to get waterlogged. We don't want to get too crazy. We don't want to be urinating every half hour, right? We want to be practical about this. So yeah, that's kind of the 2 cents on when to drink, because it is important. Also, we don't want to drink too much before we go to bed because we don't want to disrupt our sleep. We'd like to, having maybe an apple or something as a replacement for a sugary snack late at night. Okay, fine, that's going to have mostly water, but it's certainly better than some of the late night eating we tend to do. That's okay, but you don't want to be chugging a lot of water before bed and having to get up 2 or 3 times and disrupt your sleep. So kind of want to wind down all of our eating and drinking, an hour or more, 2 hours before bed. Now, what type of water? Let's talk about types of water and thinking about upgrading the quality. So for such an important nutrient, and water is a nutrient, and by the way, it's calorie free. So this nutrient that we're talking about, water, so essential, so vital to our existence. We really want to make sure that it's of high quality. We're going to be putting this into our body all day long, every day, as a necessity. We want it to be high quality. So let's talk about the most common and easily available water, and that's tap water. It would be great to say that tap water is perfectly healthy and drink it as much as you want, and it's obviously the most cost effective and whatnot, but that's simply not the case. Tap water goes through a lot of purification processes depending on your municipality. Almost all water contains some level of chlorine and fluoride. Both of those in large quantities are incredibly toxic, and we submit that a toxin is a toxin, and a poison is a poison, even if it's in a small amount. Especially if you're drinking tap water and you're getting these bacteria killers that are not friendly to the body, and you're getting them throughout the day. We're washing with tap water. It's entering our skin that way, and we're ingesting it with the water that we not only drink maybe right out of the faucet, but we're also cooking with. We're also washing fruits and vegetables with, and other things. My point is, we're getting a lot of tap water in our lives, whether we know it or not, or we're aware of it or not. So knowing what's in that water is incredibly important. What I'm going to provide at the end of this is a link to a website from the Environmental Working Group where you can type in your zip code and look at the most recent test of your water supply and what's found in it. You'll be amazed. Look, water travels through pipes. Some of those pipes are old. Groundwater picks up lots of fertilizers and other agricultural chemicals, or whatever industrial waste that might be present in our area that way we may not even know about. So getting an idea of what's in our water and following this website to see is a great starting point. You might be surprised. Inorganic metals, leads, copper, sulfuric acid, sometimes arsenic, again, pesticides and herbicides that have been dumped into the soil depending on where you live. There's lots of stuff that we don't want in our bodies, in our water supply. And again, the purification processes add a lot of this. To filter it, to clean it, and to supposedly purify it. More often than not, my opinion is that what we use to purify our water and kill bacteria is often worse than the bacteria itself. Now, keep in mind, chlorine is one example. Chlorine was the first form of chemical warfare used by the Germans in World War I. They used it on the French in like 1915. Basically, it was inhaled by the enemy and burned out their insides. This is stuff that we're putting in our water. Chlorine in our body, when combined with the saturated fats in animal foods, forms a very sticky paste in our body, which builds up on the sides of our arteries, forming arterial sclerosis, which is hardening of the arteries. And heart disease is the number one cause of death in this country. So we don't often think about the chlorine in our water and how it actually pertains to hardening of the arteries. But there you go. Fluoride's another one. Often debated. Fluoride was introduced to our water 60 years ago, maybe more. It's in 75% of the water in our country, and it was initially added as a way to help tooth decay, and it hasn't even really been proven to do that. Now, calcium fluoride, I'll just quickly touch on this because I can spend a whole other session on fluoride and chlorine, but calcium fluoride is present throughout nature, and we actually do need some of that, and some of that is important for strong teeth and bones. However, that's not what's in our water. What's in our water is sodium fluoride, and it's very different. And it's very disruptive, in particular to our thyroid. Now, it's estimated that 1 in 8 women will have some kind of thyroid issue, dysfunction, or whatnot, requiring a prescription. And a lot of this comes from fluoride. So very careful. We want to be as fluoride-free as possible. When fluorine was first discovered, it's a natural element. The first handlers of it got very sick, and some of them died. Just so, even in its most organic state, as a gas, it's highly toxic. So we don't want fluoride in any way in our body, other than what we might naturally get in fruits and vegetables that have absorbed it from the soil naturally. So again, that's what's in a lot of the tap water. So maybe in the challenges, we'll talk about this. I'll reiterate it. I'm going to include the website. So, okay, what kind of waters are good? Also, I want to briefly mention mineral spring waters, well waters. Again, we need to look out. We need to have them tested to see what's in them, what kind of runoff. And this is a local exercise, right? What might be in my soil, in my underground water, or in my local water, tap water, is very likely going to be very different from yours, even if you don't live all that far away. It depends on our municipality specific. So again, I implore you to look into what's in your water. High quality spring waters are out there. I drink one called Mountain Valley. That's one I can get easily locally. I like that water. The best water is pure distilled water. That's just simple H2O. A lot of times we want water that's injected with this or that and extra minerals and blah, blah, blah. The only thing we should be getting from water really is just water. And the minerals, vitamins, and nutrients that we need, we should just be deriving from our diet. Again, a diet that's rich in whole foods. So I know that's a lot on water, but it's so incredibly important. One last thing is high pH water is a big thing now. We want pHs of 10. Our water, our bodies we maintain a pH balance in our body naturally. And if we're too acidic or too alkaline, believe it or not, it's only decimal points in our pH that qualify in either direction. So if we're highly acidic, if we've been eating a standard American diet for a long time, we're of a more acidic nature by definition, because almost all of that food is acidic to the body and breaking it down, not building it up. So having some high pH water is fine, especially if we're in that state. But once we reach a point where our diet's really strong and we're eating mostly high alkaline, nourishing, rich, nutrient dense foods, the need for high pH or or the desire for high pH water isn't really as necessary. So don't believe the hype too much on this high pH water stuff. Getting proper water along with all the other nutrients and fiber that we've talked about through food and through pure water is really all you need. So I wouldn't go running out and paying crazy amounts of money because something's advertised as high pH. High pH is not good for the body either. If it's offsetting, again, I'll reiterate one more time, if it's offsetting, highly acidic body, it's probably okay, but again, most of it's going to get eliminated anyway. So, wow, I know that's a lot on water, but you can see how important it is. It's just that important. I could go on and get into the weeds even more so than I did, but I hope that's enough on water to get you thinking about it as one of the most important things in your life as it pertains to your health and the ways that you can get it. So what's the challenge? So I'll give you a couple of options to choose from. You guys pick what you'd like or what you think can work for you. And it could be something very small, it could be something very big. The beauty of this challenge is you get the information, you get to think about it, you get to agree with it or not, and you get to try to incorporate some of these things if you like. So first and foremost, I would recommend this for everybody is to follow the website and look up the water in your town. Check out this environmental working group website, see what the last testing is and what was in it. And look into either high quality water, spring water or whatnot, water filtration systems, and maybe even getting some distilled water, spending some real time and effort and maybe some money. Again, this is your life, this is your body, this is your health. You only get one go around. So the quality of water, given how much we need and its vital importance, having high quality and even making an investment in that might really be wise and advisable. Also looking for glass over plastic. If we can drink as much of our water out of glass bottles, and even if we get I have a nice high quality water filtration system, and I fill up the same bottles over and over again and drink my water out of that. I'm leaving a very low environmental footprint by using glass and reusing it, and I'm not getting any of the plastic in my body. The problem with water and any liquids in plastic is that oftentimes when it's heated or it's left out, or even just in its natural state, some of the plastic can actually leach into the water. We definitely don't want plastic in our body. Plastic just doesn't break down. I think the first plastic bottles ever made are probably still in existence in some form, way, shape, or form. It's estimated that it takes hundreds of years to break down plastic, if it's going to break down at all. So that's just one other tip. So maybe look for glass over plastic. Get some mason jars and drink your water out of that. I know it's clumsy and they can break, but it's much greater environmental positive and health positive. Adding water again when we first wake up in the morning. Maybe that's your challenge. Tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have a nice glass of water. I'm not going to chug it before I do anything else. Adding a glass of water before a meal, especially dinner, a big meal, it'll help fill us up. It'll help us make sure that we're actually hungry and not thirsty because we'll be hydrated. That's another thing we can do. So and then just being conscious of the high water content food, rather than going for a thing of crackers or whatnot, or maybe having an apple or a banana or some oranges or some blueberries. High in water, eating our water. What ways can we eat more water? Maybe we could snack on some celery and carrots. I mean, I know it sounds like, that's not sexy and stuff, but man, is it incredibly healthy. And if we're going to commit and devote ourselves to healing our bodies and improving our health, these are things that can get that process going very, very quickly. Employing some of these or all of these water tips and challenges can have a dramatic impact on lightening the load and helping us eliminate toxins, which by definition will free us up, and we will lose weight as a byproduct. I like the term releasing weight. Weight will go as we do these things. And we don't even have to be conscious about it. So I hope that was helpful. Big topic. Please put any questions that you have on this, whether it's types of water filtration. I know it's a big topic, and but it's so important. We're here to support you in any questions you might have. So let us know. This is what we're here for. Let's do this together, and think about our water. And we'll be moving on to another topic tomorrow. So look out for this link. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to post it. All right, catch you guys tomorrow.